formation, steam for the heating. Steam for the heating, I have taken the figure here to justify this. I don't want you to write the figure. If you want, you can write the figure. I'll be giving you the simplified figure later. So the steam for heating, see some of the product which required to be preheated, those required to be preheated. So that time using the electricity is one of the thing which will be wasting the electricity. Whenever the steam is freely available, the part of the steam will be taken to this reactor, and what happens, the product will be taken into, and it is made to flow through this heat exchanger tubes. By the time it flows through this, and you can see that the steam which is going through this inlet and passing through this and coming out to the condensed outlet. And by the time the steam is passing through this zigzag position, what happens? The heat from the steam will be transferred to this product and it will be heated up. Okay, steam for the heating purpose. This is what. Okay, and this will be specifically applicable where the steam is freely available. Once after the steam is performing some function, it is going to be atmosphere as a waste. So that time the heat of the steam can be recovered by this manner. This is called as heat exchange process. The heat exchange from the steam, the outlet steam which is going to be waste, from that the heat will be recovered to the product. Essentially it has to be heated. This is called the steam for the heating purpose. Okay, at the end again I'll be giving you small amount of time for the discussion also. Who else they want to have the discussion, we can have. The steam for sterilization and for to kill the microorganisms and all. Okay, and we need to maintain a proper temperature and pressure in the cabinet. So for that, always the steam will be used. A separate steam formation equipment will be available for this. Okay, and the steam will be used for the sterilization purpose. Okay, the sterilization purpose. So we can have the different temperatures, the different controllers for the temperature maintenance between whatever the range. Just like in our refrigerator, we are going to maintain the low temperature. In the similar visual, we can have the temperature above 120 to 130 degrees centigrade. We can maintain at constant pressure and temperature. So at this particular temperature and pressure, we can minimize the contamination of the microorganisms, and there will not be any kind of chemical reaction in the microbiology activities. Okay, this is one of the important application of the steam in the steam for the sterilization. Okay, you need not to discuss more about this. What is the sterilization? How it will be applicable? Okay, this is one. Steam for the propulsion and drive. One can able to see this. This is a turbine. The turbine will be having the blades and the steam. Here, as I told you just now, the steam which is available in between the two horizontal points, it will be having the different quality. That will be a dryness fraction and wetness fraction we are going to define. Once after it is reaching the saturated dry temperature, whatever the heat is added, it will be superheated temperature. The superheated steam will be used for the generation of the power. The superheated steam will be used for the power generation. The superheated steam, which is made to flow through this nozzle, and it will be reacting over the turbine blades. And due to this, what happens? The turbine blades will start to rotate, and this is called as a shaft. And on this periphery of the shaft, there will be a turbine blade, and so that the turbine shaft will rotate at very high speed. As I told you, you can see that in the previous classes, between 30 to 35,000 RPM, the speed of the turbine will be. And this will be used for the power generation purpose. The superheated steam, which is made to flow over the turbine blades, which are kept on or which are fixed on the shaft, and due to this impulsion or this due to the impact of these steam or the turbine blades, the turbine start to rotate at very high speed. This turbine shaft will be coupled to the alternator so that it will be producing the electricity. And this is the inlet, this is the inlet, and this is the outlet. And you can see that here the outgoing stream, which will be having enormous amount of heat. This will not be closed cycle. Okay, this enormous amount of heat will be there. This heat of this can be used to for some other specific applications like preheating the diesel or preheating the water, which is going to the boiler and all this, so that the maximum amount of heat can be recovered, so that the thermal efficiency of the plant can be increased. This is what the steam for the propulsion and drive. Okay, for the electricity generated. And the next one, let me come to the steam formation under this, the steam as a motive force. The steam as a motive force, you can see that here I have given again a small figure, make you to understand. I don't want you to write this figure essentially. Steam as a motive fluid. In some other cases, what happens, the tubes under them, the substance or fluid which is going through them will be below the atmospheric pressure. So the vacuum will be created inside this. So to avoid this, what happens, the low pressure air which is going to this point of application, that will be mixed with high pressure steam, and it will be the outgoing thing will be mixed with the steam, and that will be a medium pressure air and steam. And once after doing or performing the work, what happens, we are going to concentrate the steam and from the point of after it is performing the work. This is what steam as a motive fluid. The steam as a motive fluid, where it will be used, where the substance which is not going or which is having low pressure, due to this low pressure, it will not be circulating properly in some of the machineries or in some of the conditions, wherein the steam can be mixed with, and the steam can be separated out later on once it is performing the work on. And this will be called as the steam as a motive fluid. And the next one, steam for the atomization. The steam for the atomization, you know that in the diesel power generation process, in the diesel power generation process, the diesel oil will be used to as a burner to heat the water of the boiler, so that the steam can be generated. Now here the point what I am going to discuss is only the burning of the diesel. And what happens due to the high density, what happens, the diesel oil will not be sprinkled into minute particles. So due to this, the carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide and all this will be generated more because of incomplete combustion of the diesel oil. So to avoid this, what we are going to do, we are going to have a separate kind of the accelerator, we can say. Here we can see the steam is made to flow through one section, and the diesel oil is made to flow through one section. At very high pressure, the steam will be mixed with this, and the diesel oil will be sprayed into the combustion chamber with in very minute particles. So due to this, what happens, the diesel oil will be completely burned, and it will be avoiding the incomplete combustion. At the same time, the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and some other impurities which will be reducing due to incomplete combustion will be reduced. This is what the steam for the atomization. Atomizing the diesel oil, which is having the high density, into a very small, simple or smaller particles. This is called the atomization. Once you do the atomization, what happens? The complete combustion of the fuel will take place. So due to this complete combustion, the carbon generation and some other, the adverse effect which will be happening can be reduced. This is what is called as the steam for the atomization. And this will be especially used for the diesel power plants, where we are going to use the diesel as an oil for the burning purpose. There, a special kind of nozzle will be designed, and the steam will be mixed with along with the diesel oil, and the nozzle will be spraying along with the steam into minute particles into the combustion chamber, so that the complete combustion of the fuel will take place, so that the thermal efficiency of the plant can be increased. This is one. And the next one, let me come to the steam for cleaning. The steam for cleaning, only 2 to 3 applications are there. You can see it is the one of the 5 tube boilers. These are all. You can find the series of tubes here. In these tubes, what happens? Once after burning, the hot gases, flue gases will be flowing through this, and around them there will be a water in the boiler, so that the heat of this flue gases will be transferred to this boiler. And it is possible when they are clean inside. And once you are going to use the diesel oil or something else, what happens? The carbon will be laminated inside surface of these tubes, so that the heat transfer capacity of these tubes can be reduced. So to avoid this, weekly or monthly, once they are going to maintain by blowing a steam at high pressure, so that the layer which is deposited on inner surface of this pipe can be cleaned off from the boilers. You can see the boiler here. You can see the boiler, and here the cleaning small equipment they will be using here. You can see, and here also. This is a 5-tube boiler. Okay, this is for a cleaning purpose, steam for cleaning purpose, especially for the industrial applications. Please do not write some other the cleaning applications. If you want, you can write the dairy machinery cleaning applications. You can write the industrial, some other cleaning applications, and the dairy, the instrument cleaning applications, and along with this boiler cleaning. The boiler tube, which will be having the deposition of the carbon on inside surface, they will be reducing the heat transfer capacity. So to avoid this, we are going to clean up these, because it is not possible to have any kind of equipment which can pass through this. It will be more than 10 to 15 feet length, so that there will not be any other kind of equipment available to clean inside. Only it is possible to have this by blowing a steam at high pressure from one end to other end, by the steam which is coming at the other end, which will be carrying the carbon particles along with this, so that the inside surface of this tube can be cleaned up cleanly. This is, and steam for moisturization. And you can see the paper mills, it will be flowing through more than 32 different stages. The trees which will be put into wood, and that will be made into chips, okay, through various process, and that will be screened out, and smaller particles will be taken to the point wherein the chemicals will be added, and it will be blown to the tank. Here it will be washed clearly, and any impurities are present. Then bleaching will be done here at this stage, and it will be made into wet by adding some of the chemicals. And after this, it is made to pass through different squeezers, that means the rollers, so that the paper which is thicker at this point will be reduced into a small thin roller, and it will be winded up, or it will be rolled up. And while it is flowing through this particular stages, you can see that for all the stages, the steam is very much important. The steam moisturization is very, very important for the paper mill industries. Okay, this is what the moisturization. So to maintain a proper quality of the steam, the paper, and in order to avoid the clogging of the paper with the rollers, to separate the paper without tear out, and by the time it is coming to the end, totally it has to be dried up. So it should be ready to be used. So to make it, what happens, we need to uniformly extract the wetness from the water, the papers. So it is possible only by means of a dry steam. The dry steam, what happens, it will be extracting the wetness from the paper. By the time it is coming out for the point of use, it will be totally dried up. So for all these 32 different stages of paper production, we are going to use the steam as a moisturizer. Okay, this is one of the important application of the steam. Then steam for humidification and dehumidification. As I told you, to keep some kind of comfort conditions, the preservation of some of the oldest documents and books, and infection controls, and some of the bodies which are meant for some kind of testing purpose, we are going to keep them. Either you have to keep them at high temperature, or we have to keep them at a cryogenic temperature. In some of the cases, the cryogenic temperature, we are going to keep or preserve the dead bodies even the 100 years together, we can preserve them. So at the same time, we can heat them up, and we can keep, or we can preserve them by continuously dehumidifying them, the bodies. So this is possible by means of a humidification and dehumidification process, by adding the wetness, by extracting the wetness from the point wherein exactly we are going to have. You can see that there will be dehumidification and dehumidification. The small equipment will be available. So here the steam is made to flow through them, and we are going to keep the comfort condition, whatever the comfort condition is required, a proper temperature, proper humidity, and proper pressure. All these can be maintained by